Hey friends, so day two of calling into Dr.Drews KABC AM radio show. Um, Today, yesterday, I don't know if you saw my last video. Yesterday, after Drew repeatedly, two or three times earlier in the show, said that people who believe in gold-based currencies are stupid, or no, he said only smart people don't want our currency backed by gold. He said it two or three times very matter of factly. So I decided to call in and see if he really knew what he was talking about. And so I called in and asked him, uh, if he felt that the Fed was such a good deal, then why has the Fed devalued our dollar over the last 100 years? And he kind of just shook me off and wasted some time and went to a commercial. So today I called in and asked. There were came up a couple times some anti-Semitic vandalisms that had happened or attacks or something like that have happened that people have been blaming on Trump or something like that. So I called in and told the vetter that I wanted to ask if Drew thought it was the right or the left doing the anti-Semitic attacks. And so they put me through, and instead of asking that, I asked if the rise in anti-Semitic or anti-Zionist um, anti-Zionism was due to the internet showing us all the genocide happening in Palestine, and Drew obviously is very much a a, a supporter of Israel, so he got ruffled. Here's the and they yesterday they cut me out of their final recording that they released. So obviously today I recorded it better, and so here it is.
Go on out to Jeffrey. And Jeffrey, we've got literally 3 minutes. This is a big topic, and we're gonna have to cut off the conversation at that point because of the constraints of radio. Yeah. But go ahead, ask your question. It's an important question.
Well, I was wondering. I have noticed an influx in anti-Semitism or anti-Zionism over the past, 10 years, probably 5 years. I was wondering if you thought that had to do something with the internet and people seeing what's going on in Palestine and the genocide that's happening there, and if you think these recent attacks or vandalisms that happen were coming from the right or the left.
I do think that it has to do with the internet. I definitely agree with that. I'm not necessarily sure if it's more of an awareness of any type of world events, other than what I think it is the kind of the same thing in the increase in like depraved sexual behavior you see. If you were a anti-Semite in 1995, you kind of kept that to yourself because you were scared that someone might find you repulsive, which is understandable. Now you can go online and there's just like, hey, I'm automatically in contact with thousands of other anti-Semites. You have this world, this weird connection to extreme behavior, and good and bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you want to be a swinger in 1995, you kind of had to keep that to yourself, and you had to feel things out. Like, I wonder if this couple's a swinger. Now you just go to IHateJews.com, and there's all this. You know what I'm saying? There's this whole world for you. So I think that's a big part of it. Self-inflaming sort of. Yeah.
Do you think it's because people just hate Jews, or do you think it's because of what is happening?
Jeffrey, you preload your question with all kinds of statements. Hang on. First of all, I want to go back to your original question. Are we differentiating anti-Zionist and anti-Semitism? Are we calling them the same thing?
Yeah.
Okay. They're the same thing. They're different.
They're very different.
Right.
One's a political ideology.
Hang on. You loaded the question as though they were the same. So you sort of preloaded your question with a landmine in it. All right. And then you used the word genocide to describe what's going on in Palestine, which is a position. I understand your point of view, I guess. I'm imagining that's what you're saying. And then on top of that, you added in that people can then see that on the internet, and that's what's causing both anti-Zionism and anti-Semitism. And this is a pretty big topic, and we have now one more minute.
Yeah, because you just wasted a minute.
The way I look at it is up until about 8 years ago, Palestine versus Israel is a perfect example. That is a news story that had to live in it existed in our mind and in our consciousness in America only through what we got from about 4 news sources. Now you can, whether it's true or not, now you have real legitimate access to dissect that story. And I do think that it's going to increase either sensitivity or anger towards Jews and Muslims. Yeah, all right. I say it's unfair to even try to tackle this problem in the 3 minutes we have. I don't know about unfair, but it's certainly not something that we're going to solve. Unfair to preload the question with tons of landmines, and that would have to be parsed out in order to answer the questions properly. 800-222-5222. We got to go to break. Again.
See, what Drew doesn't understand is I don't really care what he says. Whatever he's going to say is going to be funny, but I want to say these statements on his news show to, however, his mainstream news show. All I care about is what I'm saying, and he just, you could tell the whole time he just wasted the time and got Mike to say some nonsense. But I don't know, it's pretty funny stuff. You guys should all start doing this. These open mic call-in shows on mainstream news stations and radios are just, we should be attacking these people like crazy. There's so much nonsense and propaganda on this show especially that it's absolutely mind-numbing. The radio hates internet. All they do on this show is talk shit about Twitter and Facebook and people and independent journalism and memes and all kinds of stuff, which if you're keeping track of history, this is the future. So these pro-cop, pro-government, pro-statist, you should only listen to scientists that went to school at colleges that are accredited by the government, all kinds of nonsense, discrediting what we're doing on the internet mostly. But anyway, you guys should give this guy a call. There's literally no one calling into the show. I don't know if nobody's watching it and they're just, doing it for whatever reason, but rarely anybody calls in. Every time I've called in, I've gotten through so far. So go get them.